Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to another episode. This week we're going to talk about how to control your mind to be a better athlete. Controlling your emotions to be a better athlete is a massive part for your success. Some say that Ironman triathlon or even other disciplines as well, other triathlon distances, is up to 70% in the mind. So why do all of us just focus on the training and recovery part and not on the mind more? Yes, of course, you train it with just training and suffering, but there are tips and tricks and I want to get through them today. We have to divide it up in 3 different parts. The first one is pre-training or racing. The one is then during training or racing, and then after training or racing. You need 3 different mindsets and tips and tricks for each of those phases, and I'm gonna go through them now. So before each training and racing as well, like I said, in the racing it shouldn't be anything different. It's more or less the same than in training. So your mind and everything, routines should be already set by the day you arrive on your race course and get ready to race. So first one, pre-training. Take at least 10 to 20 minutes, even if it's an early swim in the morning, a minimum of 10 minutes to get into the zone. Getting into the zone is something that's super important. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, the best ones, they mastered this. Changing emotional states really quickly is key for success. If you're a highly successful businessman, if you just really want to get everything out of your work, or everything out of your training. Let's take the example of a morning swim session. So 10 to 20 minutes, you get into the zone, let's say 10 minutes. Everything you're doing in that 10 minutes matters. What you're watching matters. Let's say you put on some YouTube. If you watch some cozy romantic series, that's not gonna help you get into the zone. What you're reading, let's say you're reading about the news and something that really triggers you and irritates you, that's going to distract you or not help you get in the zone. Who you're talking to matters. If you even write emails with your boss or talk to someone that distracts you from getting into that zone, just close the door, go behind doors before you leave training, or stay in the car before the pool session to get in that zone. Do whatever you can and you must do to get in that zone, to get focused. That's super key. If you really have a lot of troubles getting into the zone, don't forget that diet and especially caffeine can have a real impact on you having more mood swings and not being stable, for example. The inability to focus, let's say. So diet, if you have sugar spikes, if you have something in the morning that your body doesn't tolerate well, you're gonna have mood swings 20-30 minutes after, maybe at the beginning of the pool session, maybe before you arrive at the pool. So those things need to be eliminated. Same as caffeine. Some are really sensitive to caffeine, like myself. I have to stop drinking at 12 p.m. Otherwise, I'm wide awake at night. If I have 2 coffees in the morning, 2 big cups, for example, I'm irritable. I'm not balanced. I have trouble getting into the zone. So yes, caffeine is performance enhancing, but make sure you take the amount that your body can take. If you can take 3 cups of coffee and can go to bed right after, you're not one of them. But if you are sensitive to caffeine, which there are quite a lot of them out there, make sure you take the right dose of caffeine in the morning. If it's black tea or whatever it is, something that makes you awake and alert, but doesn't unbalance you or make you moody. You can validate if your diet is working, of course. You can use something, blood glucose measurements like Super Sapiens, for example. It's not just good for racing, but for your daily diet. And there you could clearly see if your blood sugar stays stable or if you completely crash after breakfast, if you have any doubts about that. But let's get back to the mindset. So those 10 minutes, when you come out of those 10 minutes or 20 minutes, no matter how long you need, in the beginning you might need more time to get in the zone. And on some days it's harder, on some days it's super easy. Pick a song. You need to be in tunnel vision. Nothing else matters except that session that's coming up. Actually, the key to happiness is also being in the moment. So there's 2 for 1. You get a real good focused session out of it, and the most quality you can get out of the session. Ignore everything that is outside of that session coming up. Nothing else exists. Nothing except the next 60 to 90 minutes in the water and what you have to do there. That's the mindset you gotta have to get the best focus before your session. Then we move on to during the training and during the session. There, your number 1 goal in racing or training is to stay focused. Very simple, stay focused, but there are tricks how you can stay focused, especially when it's painful, when you're not feeling good, when you just want to get out or something is really off. then you need to stay focused. One simple trick that works is a body scan. So what you can do is, for the different disciplines, I'll go through it now, is a body scan from toe to head, and you're just going through technique. You're checking all the boxes that you need to do in order to have the best fluent movement possible. Once you arrive at the head with a technique check, you start back at the bottom. That's what also many of the best do, even in long distance Ironmans. It requires a lot of training for the mind to be able to focus only on that for a long time. But it is one of the most efficient way to just stay in the moment, not get drawn away with your focus to, oh, how many meters do I have left? Oh, I'm already too late or something like it. All irrelevant, nothing matters except the very moment. And now I talked about the glucose already, but if you get in a race, especially suddenly, like really negative emotion, sudden really lack of focus without something like looking at the kilometers, how much is left, or the swim set, how much is left, which is clearly influenced by the mind. It could be again your body giving you a sign that your blood sugar is dropping or you're getting dehydrated. So always, if you're feeling bad, rationalize for a moment. And the training is not as key, but more key in racing. Rationalize for a moment. Hey, is my body trying to tell me something? Then you must react and fuel up and drink up, and you're probably going to be better 10 minutes later. Another really good point to refocus and get back to the moment is to make a mental stop sign, for example. Hey, stop. If your mind gets subtracted to the future, you're focusing on something else, come back to yourself, take 3 deep breaths in and out. That can be even during the race, running, or during the session. If you're doing a swim set at the side of the pool, you're kind of panicking, or you like the numbers are against you on that day, they're way slower than they normally are. 3 deep breaths, because calm is the best way. Calm and focused is the strongest way to get the best out of your session and your racing. Talking more about breathing, actually high intensity sessions like VO2 max in the water, on the bike, on running, it's super key that you focus on your breathing. Really, really key. They also found that out, that if you just focus on deep inhalation and exhalation, super deep, on nothing else, because they don't want to be focusing on the pain, right? If you do body scans in those moments, you're going to be stuck at, let's say, your legs or your arms in swimming, something like it, and you're going to be stuck with the pain. And you focus on the pain, that's not going to help you. So you need to focus on the breathing, what you can control, because otherwise when you have pain, you start to panic and you get shallow breathing and you feel even worse, and it's a spiral down. So rationalize, think about the things you can control, which is breathing and quality of movement. Then another trick you can do during the session, that's for swim, bike and run the same. You split up the distance. So if you're swimming, let's say 400 meter sets, really hard efforts, or like longer sets, especially in the water, it's easy for your mind to go to the future. Oh, how much is left? Oh, 100 meters in, I'm already feeling like this. And this is a spiral you don't want. So you focus on the moment, you focus on only the next lap, the next 25 meters, the next 50 meters, nothing else exists. For the bike, you start counting pedal strokes. Many in the Tour de France are known to do that they just start counting to 5, because if you have a 20k climb up the hill in Tour de France, for example, it's going to be hard to think about how many kilometers are left. So they just focus on the moment, on the technique, and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, and like that. That helps you to get out of the bad phase very often. And the same for the last one in running. You just pick a sign in the distance. It could be a tree, it could be a sign, just a street sign, and you tell yourself, especially during racing, this is key, Ironman racing especially, or any part of the run, the last third of the run of any triathlon is going to be hell, most likely. And it has to be, that's why you should suffer the most. And there you need to trick your brain, because your body has this survival mechanism to shut down. We can always do more than the body wants to. So we almost never reach the full capability, because the brain will shut us down before. So you need to trick your brain a little bit by picking those objects in the distance and saying, hey, I'm just running until that. Then it's over. Really, that's what you have to tell you. Hey, I'm running those 100 meters and then the race is over. And once you're there, right away, pick the next one. These 100 meters, and then it's over. Then I'm done for the day. That's how you have to trick your brain, especially the bad periods. And once you feel better, it's probably easier to go again to 1K. If it's really a horrible day, you have to keep doing this until you're at the finish line. But then you will be proud and happy at the finish line, knowing you did everything you can mentally for sure. Then right after training, let's say you're just coming out of the pool, you just finished that bike ride. Most of us, we have to go straight to work after. It's important that you take a short period of time. It might be just 5 minutes or 3 minutes, it doesn't matter. But take that time to really acknowledge what you did. If you put out a great effort, and even if the numbers weren't where you want to be grateful and really have a breather, let your body calm down. Best is up to 15 minutes because you will most likely be high on adrenaline and you don't want to be rushing with that adrenaline into the rest of the day, because then you're chasing and you're doing all those things a day. Something I had for a long time and it took me time to figure that out. It's just chasing, always in that adrenaline kind of mode. And that's A, killing your recovery, and B, you're not feeling balanced and happy at all. Take a breather, sit down, eyes closed, let your body really calm down. Let your mind know, okay, it's over now. We're switching to another emotional state, which is definitely calmer state than training, whatever it is, even if it's work, it's physically less draining, 100%. You can do in your brain a little bit, start to rationalize a little bit. Did I hit my targets of the session today? Did I come short? And trust the first gut feeling. Hey, I came short today. Mostly there's 1 or 2 things immediately popping up that give you a hint why you came short. Let's say we're swimming. Oh, it's stiff shoulders. Really, I normally don't have it. Maybe I have to stretch a bit more mobility, or I was so empty. I had no energy today. Last night I only had a small salad and I didn't have enough carbs before that high intensity session. Things like that. Just use those tools. Maybe write it down as a comment in your coach in Training Peaks, for example, so you know afterwards as well. You have a learn effect from it. It's important to write it down and get it out of your brain. Once you did that, you tick that session off in your brain. Really leave it behind you. It's in the past. You cannot influence it in any way anymore except recovery. So right away, within the first 15 minutes, your body is like a sponge when it comes to protein and carbs, for example. So you want to be taking some nutrition, hydration within the first 15 minutes after that session. So your body has a first snack, a first little stimulus for recovery. And then really with that calm Zen mindset that you have now for the next chapter, next task in your day, you have changed emotional states successfully and you're ready for the normal day. So yeah, I'm really fascinated with the mind here. As you see, there's lots of tricks and I do lots of exercises and I always keep working on it. How can I enhance my mind? Because I believe it all starts and ends with your mind. So many champions, they didn't have the talent, they didn't have any of that, but they had a great mind and belief. So that's something you should be working on.
I am the greatest.
It will help you in any chapter in your life if you work on that. Maybe you have to go really deep with a psychologist or like a counselor to really go deep into childhood kind of things to figure some stuff out. Because most of us, we're just often just reacting on patterns from the past and just doing the same automatically without really consciously being aware of it. The better you are, and if you dug all the things from the past out once and you're aware of it, that will help you in racing, that would help you in daily life, in your career, with your family, so you're not giving those negative emotions from the past back down to your children. That's another one. Anyways, now I'm drifting a little bit off. That's it for this week. I hope this helped you. I hope your next training session, you're gonna be like a Zen master, super focused in the zone, and you're gonna crush it. It's already February here, so the season's approaching. Stay focused, and soon we are gonna be back racing. Ciao. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can really help me out if you like and subscribe, push your notification bell, comment below what you want to see next, and I see you in the next video.